Punshon here, and today I want to talk about the inevitable weekend binge. I say inevitable because most people tend to do this, and we tend to justify it by using one of three reasons. Number one, it's the weekend. We can do whatever we like. Yay, no more work. Great. Number two, we've worked really hard during the week, so we've justified that weekend binge. You know, we've worked hard, we've made that extra calories, so we can just go to town and do whatever we like. And number three is that there's no set schedule at the weekend. Generally during the week we're at work, we know when we get up, we know when we have lunch, we know when we have breakfast. At the weekend we could be anywhere at any time, anything goes. The result of that though is that we end up spending 2 days of overeating. Now, 2 days doesn't really sound like that much, 2 days out of 7, but if you work it out, it's actually 28% of our week. So that's nearly a third of our week that we spend overeating. Now, if you look at your calories over the course of a week as averaging out, let's say, over the course of a week, we can spend 5 days of eating slightly under our maintenance, which is just what we want, and then in those 2 days, we'll push that average right back up, just in 2 days, okay? We can do that very, very quickly, especially if we drink a lot, because alcohol, of course, ramps our calories up very, very fast, very, very easily. And not only that, it messes with your hormone levels, so you can shut down your fat burning for a further 3 days. It doesn't have to be bad though. We can actually use this to our advantage and use that binge tendency for the weekend to actually increase our results. And the way to do it right, is first of all, don't binge for the whole weekend. First things first, yeah? Have a cheat meal, have a cheat evening if you like. I tend to have a cut off at about 6 o'clock, and then that is when my cheat time begins on the either on the Saturday or the Sunday. I tend to pick one depending on if I'm going out. And before you do it, get in a quick workout, okay? It doesn't have to be a long one, just a short 5 to 10 minute metabolic resistance training workout, okay? Now, this will help you in a couple of ways. By doing this workout, what we've actually done is we've kind of drawn out, we've depleted the glycogen stores in the muscles. Glycogen is carbohydrate stored in the muscles. Now, so what happens is when we have our big kind of binge, our big cheat meal, then what happens is the extra carbohydrates, they're more likely to be absorbed into the muscles instead of being stored as body fat. Now, the other thing that happens when we have this deviation, this binge, is that it helps us to restore levels of a hormone called leptin. Now, leptin is one of the hormones that regulates our metabolism, and when we've been eating to plan all the way through the week, it can drop a little bit, and by having this binge, it allows it to shoot back up and boost our metabolism further. So in short, remember, the weekend binge doesn't necessarily have to screw you over, okay? If you do it right, it can actually help you. So remember, basically, one bad meal won't hurt you any more than one good meal will help you, okay? An entire weekend of bad meals probably will. Enjoy your binge.